All right, welcome. We're about to unpack just a single ancient phrase. And on the surface, it sounds like complete despair, but it's actually, well, it's a blueprint. It's a hyper-precise map of reality itself. And it reveals exactly why so much of our lives can feel so temporary and unstable, and more importantly, where true, lasting connection can actually be found. So this question comes from King Solomon, right? The wisest of all men. And for centuries, people have read this and heard this sigh of, what's the point of it all? But that's not what he's asking. See, this isn't poetry. It's much closer to physics. This is a technical question, and it has a very specific boundary condition, under the sun. Solomon is isolating a variable here to show us something fundamental about how the universe actually works.
So let's just flip this whole thing on its head. This isn't a question about life being meaningless. No way. It's a statement that defines two totally different operating systems for reality. There's one that exists under the sun, and there's a whole other reality that exists above it. The question itself is the key, and it's designed to unlock the door between them. Okay, let's dive into this.
So here's our roadmap. We're going to start by really diagnosing the problem of living below the sun. Then we'll uncover the solution that's hidden inside the code of the sun itself. From there, we'll map out the entire cosmic architecture, translate it all into some modern analogies that'll make perfect sense, and then finally, we'll chart the actual path of how you get from one to the other. Okay, so first things first, let's really get into the human condition as Solomon is describing it. This world under the sun, it's not just a place on a map, it's a state of being, it's a frequency, and it's defined by one thing: instability. I want you to imagine a world that's not lit by a steady, unwavering light bulb, but by a flickering candle. Shadows are constantly jumping around, shapes appear and then they vanish. You can't be certain about anything. This is the world of constant change, of restless motion, where nothing, and I mean nothing, truly holds its form for long. And right here, you can see the fundamental split, the core dichotomy laid bare. The Zohar actually explains that this world under the sun is the realm of the moon, the Siyahara. Now think about it, the moon has no light of its own, right? It only reflects the sun. It waxes, it wanes. Its very nature is defined by cycles of being visible and then being hidden. And that's a perfect metaphor for this lower reality. It's a world of reflection, not of source, of separation, not of unity. It's a world of constant, predictable fluctuation where today's fullness is always going to become tomorrow's emptiness. So what's with the number 6? Where does that come from? Well, the ancient mystics, in works like Pardes Ramonim, they describe this lower world as the realm of the Shishak Tzavot, the 6 directions. Up, down, east, west, north, south. What this really means is that you're in a reality where that single point of unity, that one true center, has been shattered into a bunch of separate vectors, all pulling in different directions. It is a world defined by separation, where everything has its own little space. There's no unifying axis here. It's a state of perpetual disintegration. And this brings us to the actual mechanism behind all this instability. In texts like the Tree of Life, this force is called klippah, which literally translates to a husk or a shell. The best way to think about it is like a kind of spiritual entropy, or maybe a metaphysical parasite. It's an energy of concealment that can only attach itself to things that are temporary, that are separate, that are impermanent. It literally thrives in the flicker. It feeds on the instability of the world below the sun. This is the engine of decay. And that's exactly why Solomon says any advantage you get down here is ultimately zero, because the entire system is built for illusion and for things to eventually fall apart. Okay, and now everything is about to change. We're moving from that flickering candle to a radiant, steady star. Now that we've diagnosed the problem of this lower world, we can finally reveal the solution. You see, the sun, in Solomon's question, it's not just our star. It is a precise code for a higher dimension of reality, a central, stable axis around which everything else can and should revolve. And the key is sitting right here, in the book of Psalms, and it's quoted in Pardes Ramonim as the master key to this whole idea. For the Lord God is a sun and a shield. Now, the text is not being poetic here, it's being technical. This is literally an equation. It's stating, point blank, that the sun is a direct metaphor for a specific divine attribute, a source of unwavering, stable, life-giving, and protective energy. And that name for the sun? It's Tiferet. In the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, Tiferet is the central hub, it's the heart of the whole system. Its name means beauty, harmony, and, crucially, truth. It's the pivot point.
In Pardes Ramonim, its light is described as or behir, a clear, brilliant light which, and this is the absolute game changer, has no movement at all. It is the very definition of stability. It is the complete opposite of that flickering, restless world down below.
So this table really breaks down how Tiferet does its job. It's sitting right in the middle of the tree of life. Over on its right, you've got Chesed, that's loving kindness, pure, unrestrained giving, represented by the color white. On its left, you have Gevura, that's severity, discipline, pure contraction, represented by red. So Tiferet's job is to take these two polar opposite infinite forces, infinite expansion and absolute restriction, and harmonize them. It blends that white light and that red fire to create a stable, life-sustaining reality, which is why its color is green or gold. It's just like our physical sun, which perfectly balances gravity and fusion to create stable light. Tiferet balances these cosmic forces to create a stable reality. Okay, so let's zoom out. We've got the pieces, now let's build the whole cosmic architecture. Now that we understand these two zones, below the sun and above the sun, we can actually place them on the complete map of reality from Kabbalah, the system of the four worlds.
This map, which comes from foundational texts like the Gate of Incarnations, shows us this amazing hierarchy of consciousness. At the very top, you've got Absolute, the world of pure, perfect unity. It's so pure that no klipa, no shell of illusion can even exist there. Below that is Bria, the world of pure intellect. Both of those are firmly above the sun. And way down at the bottom is our world, Asiya, the world of action and physicality. This is the definitive realm below the sun, where our reality is all tangled up with the klipot and their instability. And sitting right on that critical boundary line is Yetzirah, the world of emotion, which can be pulled up towards the stability of the intellect or dragged down into the chaos of pure action.
And this is why this whole thing is so important for us, because our own soul is a multi-layered vehicle that is designed to navigate this very structure. The Gate of Incarnations explains that the most basic level of our consciousness, the nefesh, is our action soul. It's what animates our bodies, and its default home is in the unstable world of Asiya, below the sun. Our emotional self, the ruach, is rooted in that fluctuating world of Yetzirah, but our intellectual soul, the neshama, its home is in the stable world of Bria, above the sun. So the entire spiritual journey is really just about learning to operate from these higher, more stable levels of our own soul, even while our body is physically down here in Asiya.
Okay, I know. This is some pretty abstract, high-level stuff. So to make it absolutely crystal clear and tangible for everyone, let's translate this entire cosmic structure into two modern analogies, one for the younger generation and one for those of us with a more technical mind.
For the kids, and hey, for the kids at heart, think of it like a video game. The world below the sun, our physical reality, is like a buggy, poorly coded early level. The physics are all glitchy, you try to build something and poof, it disappears. You gain an advantage, a yitron, and then the game crashes and you lose your save file. It's so frustrating. Well, Tiferet's, the sun, is like a hidden portal in that level. And when you find it and step through it, you enter the game's central hub world. And in here, the code is perfect, the system is stable, your progress is saved, your identity is secure, and the real game can finally begin. All that toil in the glitchy level was just to get you to this portal.
All right, now for the adults, the engineers, the tech people. Our physical reality, Asiya, is just the front-end user interface. It's a simulation layer that's designed for us to interact with, but it's volatile. It flickers with constant updates, and it is not the source of truth. Any advantage you get there is just temporary data in the cache, and it can be wiped at any moment. Your efforts, your prayers, when they're made from just this level, are like unauthenticated, unstable API calls. They time out, they get blocked by a firewall, they return corrupted data. The journey to Tiferet, to above the sun, is all about establishing a secure, persistent, authenticated VPN tunnel directly to the backend architecture. The worlds of Bria and Atzilut, those are the core servers. That's where your true data, your core identity is stored with perfect integrity. It's the source of truth, protected and permanent. So, this all leads to the most important question, right? We have the map, we have the models. How do we actually do this? How does a person who's living in this unstable front-end simulation begin to anchor themselves in that core architecture? And listen, this is really important. The goal is not to escape. You don't win the game by quitting the glitchy level. The whole purpose of this lower world, of Asiya, is to be a place where we act, but we do it while we are connected to the stability above. The goal is to become a conduit, to bring the stability of the back end into the front end, to refine and elevate this physical world by acting inside of it from a much higher point of consciousness. So how do you do it? Well, applying this cosmic structure really comes down to a few key principles. It means acting mindfully, consciously realizing that even though your hands are in the world of Asya, your mind, your consciousness, your neshama, can be firmly rooted in the world of Bria. It means actively looking for the underlying unity in a world that always seems fractured into 6 competing directions. It means using your stable, clear intellect to guide your fluctuating emotions instead of just being tossed around by them. And maybe most importantly, it means a deep detachment from the outcome. You're not toiling for the yitron, for that temporary advantage under the sun. You're toiling for the sake of strengthening the connection itself. That's what real prayer and meditation are. They're conscious practices designed to bypass that unstable UI and create a direct, stable pipeline to the core. And this brings us right back to the beginning. Solomon's question was never really what's the point. It was, and it still is, where is your point of attachment? Think about it. Are you trying to anchor your ship to the flickering reflections on the surface of the water? Or are you dropping your anchor down to the immovable rock deep below? Is all your effort, all your energy and focus for the sake of those temporary gains below the sun? Or is it for the sake of the eternal connection that can only be found above it? That is the only question that truly matters. Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.